What a wonderful way to kick off this conference. Thank you, Blessed. Can you join me in giving her another round of applause? She's pretty humble. She just completed her 11th grade of the diploma program, and I can't say I met her, but I was in the audience for the first public delivery of that poem at the Montgomery County Public Schools, State of the Schools, which Josh Starr runs each year. And he holds it at Strathmore Hall. So here you have someone who's just started their 11th grade in this beautiful music hall with hundreds of political dignitaries and other educators for a 150,000 student school district that has a strong IB presence, of course. And she delivers this powerful poem. And before she's done, I'm emailing Jennifer Hoover, her IB coordinator. I'm like, please tell me Blessed is an IB student. And she emails me back. She's like, of course she's an IB student. So thank you, Blessed, for that amazing kickoff of our conference and time together. So on with the formalities. Welcome to Washington, D.C., and welcome to the 2014 Conference of the Americas. Bienvenidos a todos a la Conferencia del IB en las Américas. Mi nombre es Drew Deutsch y soy el director regional de IB Américas. Bienvenue à Washington. Et bienvenue à la conférence de l'IB en Amérique. Je m'appelle Drew Deutsch et je suis le directeur régional à la région Amérique de l'IB. Not bad, right? I guess that IB diploma did pay off. Hello, everyone, in my native tongue. My name is Drew Deutsch, and I'm the Regional Director for IB Americas, proudly serving IB World Schools from the southernmost tip of Chile to the northern Yukon Territory of Canada. I, along with a regional team of about 45 staff members located just up the road in Bethesda, Maryland, Buenos Aires, Argentina, Vancouver, British Columbia, and Austin, Texas, support the work you do throughout the school year to bring the best international education to students in your community. This is the first time that we're hosting the Conference of the Americas so close to home, and that's a picture of our office in case you're curious. We couldn't be more delighted to have you all here just a few miles up the road from our offices located in Bethesda. After you've had the opportunity to spend a few days with the IB staff and to enjoy some of DC's cultural, culinary, and other attractions, I'm confident that you'll agree that we made the right choice when we decided to open the first of IB's 3 global centers around the world right here in the Washington, D.C. area. The local region attracts people who are passionate about providing the best possible education for kids. In fact, there are over 100 IB World Schools that are located within an hour's drive of where we're standing. Well, most of you are sitting. Before we get started, I'd like to recognize some of our distinguished guests attending the conference. Members of the IB Board of Governors in attendance, members of the Heads Council in attendance, members of the IB Americas Regional Council in attendance, Carol Bellamy, the chair of the IB Board of Governors, Dr. Siva Kumari, Director General of the IB, Mr. Jim Shelton, Deputy Secretary at the U.S. Department of Education, and Freddy Peñafiel, Ecuador's Vice Minister of Education, and all those of you who are in attendance tonight. Welcome, all of you, and thank you for attending this year's IB Conference of the Americas. Thank you. For those of you who've been here before, and if you could raise your hand, welcome back. If you're attending for the first time, we're so glad that you've joined us for what I'm confident will be 3 inspiring days of conversation and networking. This year's conference theme is Ways of Knowing. If you teach in the diploma program, and I know there are a lot of you out there, you'll recognize it as a component of the Theory of Knowledge course, which can also be applied across all 4 of the IB's programs. We hope that the next 3 days will be a thought-provoking experience as we reflect on the many ways that we acquire knowledge. We'll also take time to explore and to celebrate the depth and the breadth and energy of our vibrant and growing IB community. Look around you right now. Look around. I want to see heads moving. Look around. There are more than 1,700 people in this ballroom. Conference participants come from 41 US states and the District of Columbia, 6 Canadian provinces, and 31 countries from across the Americas and from around the globe. This is the largest gathering of our global IB community ever. So thank you for being a part of that. Take this opportunity to bring new perspectives into your teaching practice, into your classrooms, and into your IB community. The IB's progressive approach to teaching and learning has stood the test of time for over 45 years. For close to 5 decades, the IB's focus on critical thinking and rigorous standards have had a positive impact on students from ages 3 to 18 around the globe. Our 4 quality education programs have a proven positive impact on students from pre-K through entry to university. The IB continues to grow and to learn from all of you. You bring our programs to life by implementing them with passion. Your hard work enables students to shine at your school and at other IB schools around the globe. You can clap. Okay, let's shift the focus away from the IB and turn the spotlight where it belongs, onto schools and onto classroom practice. IB World Schools represent all the diversity that exists among students of the world, and no 2 IB schools are the same. I'd like to take a few minutes to highlight some schools that truly represent the IB's mission in practice. Schools which have used the IB's program and educational framework to literally transform their learning communities and their students' potential and re-energize the learning that's taking place in their buildings. In Chicago, where 85% of students qualify for free or reduced lunch, the IB has been a transformational model in neighborhood schools. One extraordinary example is Nicholas Sen High School. Is there anyone out there from Nicholas Sen? Give a woohoo. Woohoo! They recently broadened access to their IB program. There are over 55 nationalities represented at Sen and 49 languages spoken. Since broadening access to the IB program to require every student in the school to participate in the IB in some way, Sen has moved from the bottom third of schools in Chicago to being ranked as, quote, excellent by Chicago Public Schools District. How great is that? Making it an even better achievement is that prior to the IB, for 13 of the 17 years before that, the school was on probation. So the IB has made a real difference at that school with great leadership, of course. In addition to fortifying its IB program, Sen has also created deeper connections with local education institutions. The school's partnership with Loyola University has enriched the school and the entire community. Education majors at Loyola University use Sen as a learning lab. They do their student teaching practicums right there and can even earn an IB certificate in teaching and learning through Loyola in the process. Representatives from both Sen and Loyola will discuss this partnership during one of the breakout sessions at the conference. I urge those of you with universities in your communities to consider attending this informative breakout to find out more about how you might create greater engagement in your local community. With concrete outcomes like these, it's no wonder that Chicago Public Schools, with the strong support of Mayor Rahm Emanuel, is broadening access to IB. As part of the mayor's IB expansion initiative, CPS is bringing the middle years program to 4 new schools next year and the primary years program to 1 additional school. This is in addition to the 46 IB programs already authorized in the district. And if that wasn't enough, there are another 30 schools that are currently awaiting authorization. These are impressive numbers for the 3rd largest school district in an urban setting in the United States, whose strong mission is to offer a high-quality, world-class education for the 21st century and to ensure every child is on track to graduate prepared for success in college, work, and life. Does that mission statement sound a little familiar? The IB serves students from diverse racial and socioeconomic backgrounds, and IB schools across the world serve an incredibly diverse population. We're collectively committed to increasing the number of students with access to IB programs, regardless of personal circumstance. One country that has shown tremendous growth and is truly an example of increasing access is Ecuador. In 2012, President Correa asked the IB to introduce the diploma program into as many of the country's public secondary schools as possible. The current plan is to reach 500, yes, 500 public diploma IB schools in Ecuador by 2017. At Colegio Manuela Cañizares, you made me say this twice. At Colegio Manuela Cañizares, in an urban barrio in Quito, Ecuador, something really extraordinary has happened. The school's teachers received their first high-quality professional development training as part of the IB authorization process. At the workshop, it was the first time some of the participants had ever stayed in a hotel. They were treated as highly valued professionals. The training helped them change their traditional teacher-centered approach to a student-centered one. Not only did teachers embrace these changes, but their enthusiasm and new methods of classroom engagement encouraged their students to stay in school, which reversed the high dropout trend at the school. To meet the IB's rigorous authorization standards, the school's library, science lab, and other school facilities were all upgraded. The teachers felt valued, the students felt valued, and the parents began to understand that this change was part of something big. These public sector students will have a more equitable chance of getting into the tuition-free university system in Ecuador. And more than half of the IB candidates from Manuela Cañizares passed their IB exams this year, and they'll be ready for university. Many will be the first of their families to go on to higher education. I think that deserves a round of applause. Okay, if we can take a drive, well, maybe not a drive, but go slightly north to Texas to hear about an exciting ed tech initiative taking place in McAllen. Anybody from McAllen here? Small contingent. Oh, we'll just have to delete this whole section if you don't scream louder. How many of you in the room, not just from McAllen, work in schools that have a bring your own device or BYOD policy? Raise your hands. Okay. How many of your schools provide a device to all students? And then how many of you are from McAllen? We know the answer to that question now. Okay. The Dr. Rodney D. Cathy Middle School in McAllen, Texas, recently gave every child an iPad. The school's student-led tech team does iPad repairs. It helps manage their computer networks, and the school was named, or recently named, an Apple Distinguished Program Award winner. Devices in the classroom at Cathy Middle School empower students to live, learn, and compete in a continuously changing global marketplace. Whether students think about it that way or not, this style of learning is fun and authentically reflects their daily life, a digitally connected mosaic where the line between home, school, work, learning, and play is completely blurred. And I'm sure Alan November, our keynote speaker on Saturday, who's fond of saying the worst thing you can do with an iPad is to turn it into a $1,000 pencil, I'm sure that Alan would agree that McAllen is getting it right. From high school seniors all the way down to kindergarten, their district is working to place mobile technology in the hands of every single one of the 25,000 students across the district K-12. It's huge. McAllen is part of the League of Innovative Schools, which is a short list of 46 school districts across the US at the forefront of EdTech utilization. This is especially impressive given that 67% of the district students are economically disadvantaged, and nearly 30% do not speak English as their first language. A little bit closer to home and closer to my heart, since my wife graduated from there, and by the way, this picture, that's not my wife. That's the IB coordinator. My wife is sitting in the third row, and it was our 9th anniversary last night, and I promised not to embarrass her, but I don't keep my promises. Anyway, back to my speech. So South Lakes High School, where she graduated, but of course it was before the IB, so it wasn't quite kismet. It's located just across the Potomac River in Reston, Virginia. At South Lakes, the first IBCC cohort of 23 students graduated this past May, and the school has doubled its IBCC enrollment for next year. The IB career-related certificate combines rigorous academics with practical, career-focused instruction to better prepare students for the world of work. The program at South Lakes marries existing career tech education courses like its business, marketing, engineering, culinary arts, and Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps, or JROTC, career track options with its diploma program courses. The students at South Lakes clearly know what they like about the program. Let's hear it from them.
When I was kind of deciding what I wanted to do, either go full IB or just advanced diploma, I wasn't sure. Finding out about this program, it was kind of like that sweet spot in the middle. I was able to kind of do what I want to do and take all the IB classes that I want to do. I have plenty of time for my sports now because I do a lot of things outside of school, different coaching.
I did econ personal finance my freshman year. Then I did intro to marketing, and then I did IB business, and then I did fashion marketing and IB business, and then so I just finished out with IBCC. Starting my sophomore year, I found my passion in marketing, so it helped me specialize. Being the first graduating class that pioneered IBCC, it's something that sets me apart, and then also introduces the diploma to colleges.
Co-curricular clubs like DECA and Future Business Leaders of America enhance the school's IBCC program. South Lakes DECA team advanced to nationals this year and is going to the DECA International Career Development Conference in Orlando. It's great to see schools take a program like IBCC and link it to existing activities, clubs, and other enrichment opportunities to fully embed it within the school community. I've mentioned that the IB is winding down its 45th year this October. It's appropriate then to reflect on the important role that independent schools have played in the growth and development of the IB. Independent schools have the freedom to act as labs of innovation. It was in just this kind of progressive environment that the IB originated from at the International School of Geneva, or Ecolint, in Switzerland, of course. The English school, located in Bogota, Colombia, is a bilingual English-Spanish school and is a great example of the kind of progressive, forward-thinking school the IB's philosophy emerged from. The English school offers 3 programs representing a continuum of IB education for students from age 4 to 18. Creativity, action, service, or CAS, of course, is an integral part of the school's focus. Each year, its diploma students go deep in the Amazon to raise awareness of global issues like deforestation and climate change, and in many ways, the English school exemplifies what the IB strives to achieve: a long tradition of excellence with a progressive view towards the future and a commitment to making the world a more peaceful place through education. I hope the stories and images of these schools have inspired you as we embark on our next 3 days together. Their stories represent a small snapshot of the many examples of excellence within our IB community and, of course, in this room. Please share your school stories with me if you see me in the hall, and share your school stories and what you're doing with our global community by using the hashtag for this week's conference, IBDC 2014. Before moving on to our next speaker, it's with deep gratitude that I would like to acknowledge the 200 IB Educator Network representatives with us at the conference. These experienced master educators take the time to develop workshops and to share their craft through professional development training, among other activities, on behalf of our IB community. If you work at an IB interested or candidate school, raise your hand. If you work at an authorized IB school, raise your hand. If you've ever been to an IB, keep your hands raised. If you've ever been to an IB professional development workshop. So basically, all of us in the room have benefited from the dedication of these individuals that make up our IB Educator Network. If you're one of those 200 people I mentioned, can you please stand up for a moment? If you're a member of the IB Educator Network or an IBEN, please stand up so that we can collectively give you a hand and thank you for all the work that you do. We could not authorize or train teachers from individual schools or countries like Ecuador without your hard work. Thank you. Just after this evening's plenary, I want to let everyone know that Khaled Hosseini, who's been a friend of the IB over the years, he'll be signing copies of his most recent book, And the Mountains Echoed, as well as copies of his book, The Kite Runner, outside the exhibit hall where the reception will be held. Khaled and Elizabeth Sunabi will also be leading a featured breakout session tomorrow morning at 11:15. I'm sure we'll be closing the door early, so make sure to get to that one if you're interested. Okay, I'm almost done. Earlier this week, over 135 students were clicking refresh on their browsers, and you know why. They were trying to find out their IB diploma scores. When I did it, they didn't have browsers. I think I got my IB diploma on a dot matrix printer, literally. Anyhow, one of those students hitting refresh on her browser was IB diploma graduate Natalie Brosh. Natalie recently graduated from the IB diploma program at Edgewood High School in Edgewood, Maryland. And for her extended essay, she explored the relationship between music and the mind. Natalie has served on her school's debate and swim teams and was her school's National Honor Society president. Please join me in welcoming Natalie Brosh to the stage. Natalie?